It is time to start math class. Page 195 today. We're doing lesson 5-9. We're going to be doing some comparisons with mixed numbers. All right, page 195. We see a bunch of pencils up against a ruler. Now the ruler is broken into different sizes. You see the longer line between the 0 and the 1. That would be the 1/2 line. Then you can break it into fourths. You can also break it into eighths. So this ruler is just like any other ruler where it breaks inches into 1/2 inches, 1/4 inches, and 1/8 inches. Okay, let's look first at how long is Gloria's pencil. You see the dotted line at the end of Gloria's pencil, right up here. Okay, that dotted line right at the end of Gloria's pencil goes down to the line that is at 3. It's above the 3, so we know it's the 3. Oops, let's change colors, make it a little darker here. Erase that. 3. And then we can have this at 3/4, or you can say it's at 3 6/8. Okay, either one of those would be okay. How long is Mateo's pencil? Now Mateo's pencil is 4, and then it's 1/4, or be 4 2/8. You're either going to use the 4, using the denominator 4 for those comparisons, or the 8s. Either one you use, you can use one or the other. Look at question number 2. How much longer is Mateo's pencil than Gloria's pencil? How much longer is it? Okay, we can do this two ways. We can do the math, and we can subtract the differences. And we can say that 4, let's use just the fourths right now. We can say that 4 1/4 minus 3 3/4. Okay, we'd have to borrow, change the 4 to a 3, and then 4 plus 1 is 5, change the numerator to a 5, and we have 3 minus 3 is 0, and 5 minus 3 is 2/4. Okay, or we could look and see right here, we have the difference between Gloria and Mateo's pencils right there. From the end of Gloria to Mateo, how much is that? Well, that's either 2/4 or 4/8, just by looking at the difference on the ruler. Okay, we can do the math by subtracting, but in the end, we end up finding out that it's 2/4 of an inch, or if you did look at the as eighths, it'd be 4/8, which both of those equal to 1/2 of an inch. Okay, now if we compare other pencils that we didn't talk about up there, if we talk about Andrew's pencil and Helen's pencil, let's compare those two. Now we got a big difference though. Now when the pencils are so close, it's good to look at the ruler and just do that. When there's such a big gap, yeah, we can still use both strategies. First, we're going to use subtraction. First, we're going to say Helen's is the longer pencil. So how long is that one? Helen's is 5 3/8 inches long. 3 of the little eighth lines. Subtract that, the difference from that and Andrew's is 1 5/8 inches long. Well, again, I subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. Oops. Looks like I need to borrow. So I go back, erase the 4. The 3 is smaller than 5, so I got to borrow here. Borrow from the 5, make it a 4. 8 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 3 changes to 11. So 4 minus 1 is 3, and 11 minus 5 is 6/8. Okay? Another way I can do this is look at from where Andrew's starting point is. Okay? And at every full inch, there would be 1 full inch, 2 full inches, 3 full inches, and then how many eighths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could also count up the difference and still get 1, 2, 3, 6/8 inches. So using the ruler and counting up, or doing the subtraction is a way you can compare numbers. We're just comparing. Okay? Down at the next part. Now we're looking at numbers on a number line. Okay? Same thing. I can count up from the smaller of the two that you're comparing, or I could do some subtraction. All right. How much farther did the cyclist travel? So we're looking at the cyclist first compared to the horseback rider. Okay, I can count up. Now this number line is broken into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fifths. So now we're looking at numbers with a denominator of 5. I can do it two ways. The first way I'm going to do it is by doing the subtraction. So I look at the cyclist, which is at 9 and 1/5, and I subtract the horseback rider, which is at 6 and 2/5. Okay, 1 is smaller than 2, so I need to borrow. Change the 9 to an 8. 5 plus 1 is 6. So 8 minus 6 is 2, and 6 minus 2 is 4/5. Now if I count up from 6 and 1/5, there, that's 1 whole, 2 wholes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4/5. I could count up to 2 and 4/5 as well. The counting up works when you're on a small and the numbers aren't really big, and there's a small difference, but subtraction will always work. Okay, number 5, we'll do that one in pink. How much farther did the horseback rider travel than the skier? So now we're comparing the horseback rider to the skier. Okay, we know the horseback rider was 6 and 2/5. And I subtract the smaller one, which is at 3 and 4/5. Again, I have to borrow. 2 is smaller than 4, so 6 becomes a 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. My new numerator is 7. So 5 minus 3 is 2, and 7 minus 4 is 3/5. I count up to check that, or just to do the work. So we got starting here, and we go up to 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3/5. 2 and 3/5 is correct. So I can compare by, again, subtracting, find the difference. All right, let's now look at page 196. Got some problems here. We'll do number 1 together, and then I'll have you work on the other ones here in a minute. So use what you know about adding and subtracting mixed numbers to solve each problem. Number 1 says that Kenesha ordered 6 pizzas for a party. 2 pizzas, 2 cheese pizzas, 2 Hawaiian pizzas, and 2 pepperoni pizzas. At the end of the party, 1 3/10 cheese pizzas, 5/10 Hawaiian pizzas, and 1 1/10 pepperoni pizzas were left. How many pizzas were eaten altogether? Okay, so we have to take and we have to do lots of steps here. We have to say from every 2 pizzas, how many of each is left, or how many of each 2 was eaten, and then add those together. Okay, or we can take the total of 6 pizzas, add up 1 3/10, 5/10, and 1 1/10, and subtract that from the 6 total pizzas that we're started with. Now I like that one because I can do some adding here. So 1 3/10, we'll start with the 1 3/10, which is how much cheese pizza was eaten, plus 5/10, plus 1 1/10 for the other kind of pizza. So we add those together. We have a denominator of 10. We're going to add the numerators first. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and I have 2 wholes. So 2 9/10 pizzas were eaten. How many was left? Well, I take the 6 total pizzas I started with and subtract 2 9/10 from that. Okay, I need to create fraction part here, so I change the 6 to a 5, and I'm talking about tenths, and I put 10 tenths here, and now I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So the answer, 3 1/10 pizzas were eaten. Pizzas. 3 1/10 pizzas. All right, that was the busiest of the problems, I think. Go ahead, and I want you to work on number 2, 3, and 4. Pause your video, work on number 2, 3, and 4, and come back for your answers when you're done. Pause your video and begin. All right, so let's look at number 2 now. Shing wants to fence a rectangular area for his rabbit. One side of the fence must be 8 1/4 feet long. Shing will use 28 feet of fencing. How long will the other side be? Okay, so we're talking about a rectangular area. So we have 2 sides are 8 1/4. How long are the other 2 sides? How long will the other side be? Multiple step problem again. We have to take and find out what the other two sides will be, 8 1/4 and 8 1/4. Add those together, double those, and that makes 16 1/4. Okay, and we have to subtract that from the 28 feet of fencing altogether. So we have 28 feet of fencing minus the 16 2/4 that are going to be the two sides, and that'll tell us the other two sides. We'll have to cut that in half to find out what the other side will be. Okay, so 28 we have to change and borrow to make it 27, and then 4/4. 27 minus 16 is 11, and 4/4 minus 2/4 is 2/4. Okay, and how do I cut 11 2/4 in half? Well, I cut 11 in half by making it 5 1/2, and that's 2/4. But then I have another 2/4, so that would be plus another 1/4 would be 5 3/4 feet. Would be the final answer for that one. Okay, let's look at number 3. Ella needs to measure 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1 3/4 cups of oatmeal, and 3/4 cups of sugar for a recipe. Can she fit all these ingredients in a 4-cup measuring cup at the same time? So these now we're going to add and see if they equal 4 cups or less. So we have 2 1/4 and 1/4 plus 1 3/4. Add those together, and then we'll add the 3/4 cup. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Actually, let's go ahead and add all 3 together. Make it all one step. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So now I have to change that. 3 7/4. We have to take out 4/4, so that would make it 4, and we have 3 left over. 4 3/4. That does not fit. No, too much. We know that 3 7/4 is more than 4 already. We don't have to change it to the 4 3/4. But if we're not sure, we can change it to make sure, and no, they will not fit. Okay, finally now we have the last one. I'm going to shrink it down and give myself more room to work down here on the bottom. Mr. Campbell can drive straight to Plainsville, or he can take a more scenic route by going through Riverdale. It is 12 3/8 miles to Plainsville. It is 6 5/8 miles to Riverdale. It is 7 7/8 miles from Riverdale to Plainsville. How much farther is it going to be? So we have to figure out the distance going through Riverdale and subtract just the distance going straight to Plainsville. Okay, so we're first going to take 6 5/8 to Riverdale plus 7 7/8. So 6 5/8 plus 7 7/8 equals, got a denominator of 8. 6 plus 7 is 13. 5 plus 7 is 12. We have to change that, take out 8 eighths, and that makes it 14 4/8 miles the long way. Then we have to take that answer and subtract it from the direct route, which is 12 3/8, to find the difference. How much farther is it going to be? All right, we don't have to borrow on this one, so we can just say 14 minus 12 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. It is 2 1/8 miles. Make my pen smaller for this little thing here. 2 1/8 miles farther. All right. Now, looking at another skill here at the bottom of page 196. Putting these in order. I'm going to do number 5 and show you how I like to do it, finding the very smallest and the greatest, putting those and then comparing the other 3. Okay, so number 5, I'm going to find it, and notice it says you're trying to find from least to greatest, making sure we understand that. Okay, the smallest number here, clearly not one of the mixed numbers or improper fractions. So we only have one regular fraction, so it must be the smallest. So 3/5 is clearly the smallest. I'm done with that one. What is the largest one? Okay, well, I have a number here, 8/5, an improper fraction. I have to change that to a mixed number so I compare it to the other mixed numbers. And notice I have 1 whole right here, so we notice that equals 1 whole. So all the other ones, if it's an improper fraction or a mixed number, it's greater than 1 whole. So my next number is going to be 5/5. I'm done with that one. Okay, 8/5 I have to change. 5 goes into 8 one time. And let me rewrite these down here. We got 1 1/5 left. Then I'm going to change 8/5. 5 goes in 8 one time, and I have 3 left over, 1 3/5, and then I have 2 4/5. Now remembering that this one, its value is actually for 8/5. Okay, which is the next smallest one? Well, 1 1/5 would be next. Then it would be the 1 3/5, which is actually 8/5. And then we have 2 4/5. Okay, simply finding a way to eliminate some and then compare the ones you need to compare and change. Remember, you have to change improper fractions to be mixed numbers, or mixed numbers to be improper fractions to compare them. Now on number 6, we have a little mixture of both, but on 7, notice there's only one mixed number. I would change that into an improper fraction to compare them all, because that's less work. So right now what I want you to do is complete 6 and 7, put them in order, and come back and check your answers. All right, so let's see where we're going here. Again, I'm going to find the smallest one because it's least. The only regular fraction I have is 4/8. That's an easy one. Done with that one. The next one would be mixed numbers or a whole number 1, so 8/8 would be next. Now I have all the ones that are greater than 1. I got to change 8/18. 8 goes in 18 2 times, and that's 16, so 2 is left over. So I have 2 2/8, 2 1/8, and 2 5/8. So 2 1/8 would be next. 2 2/8, which is actually 18/8, would be next, and the largest one is 2 5/8. And now number 7. Okay, again, like I said, I would change the one mixed number into an improper fraction. 10 times 4 is 40, plus 2 is 42 tenths. So that one clearly is the largest one. So I'm going to put that one down here right away. 4 2 tenths is the largest one. I'm done with that one. Okay, now I can compare the other ones. Are there any that are regular fractions? Well, I got 6 tenths. That's a regular fraction, and 9 tenths is a regular fraction. So 6 tenths is the smallest. 9 tenths is next. And now I have the value of 1, 10 tenths, and then the next one is 20 tenths. And there you have it. Putting them in order. Just got to break it down and compare them, and making sure when you reread them, does it make sense? All right. It is now time. Homework and remembering 5-9. All right. On these, you're going to be doing some more practice with adding and subtracting, and you'll also be doing some comparisons. So be ready. Good luck, 'cause things could get crazy. That's a crazy chicken.